Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome to this special turn-based Thursday Fest video. What was once a single day each year has become a whole week-long celebration of strategy games, and they have asked me to explain to y'all my love of Songs of Conquest. This is an adventure strategy game, sort of in the vein of like a Heroes of Might and Magic, that came out a couple of years ago and has been releasing content ever since. I'm a huge fan of it. Their latest Tale DLC, Rise Eternal, just came out, and if you are convinced by this video that you want to get in here and try this stuff, it is on sale on Steam currently, quite a bit on sale, and you can find a link to that in the video description down below. Also, in the video description, you can find a link to the Turn-Based Thursday Fest main page featuring a schedule of all the different creators who are making YouTube videos and streams and stuff, supporting and talking about their love of various strategy games. It is cool stuff. You should definitely check it out. And if you want a link to the Turn-Based Thursday Fest Steam sale page, where you can get all of these wonderful games, that, of course, is down in the video description as well. Without any further ado, let's actually get into the game here. Let me show you what it is that is so cool about this game, aside from the art style, which you can already see. I am a big sucker for this like 3D terrain with 2D sprites on it vibe that they've got going. I think it just looks absolutely great. And the way I'm going to show you this game is we're going to play a little conquest map. So I should probably start by saying there's an awful lot of single player content here if you want to do, if you are into the story campaigns and stuff. Boy, oh boy, do they have the stuff for you. But if you're more interested in just playing individual mechanics-focused matches, or of course multiplayer or anything like that, you can do so on the wide variety of handcrafted conquest maps. They have a random map generator as well, and some like puzzle mode challenge maps. These are pretty cool, designed to challenge your tactical know-how and of course to sharpen up your strategic skills. We're just going to be playing the start of a conquest map here, so that I can show y'all the mechanics. We probably won't play through this whole game because this would be quite a large one, but I thought this would be a good map to sort of explain things on. So, Verdant Canyon, a 3-player map where all 3 players start quite close together in the center, but we definitely will not be coming to blows early in the map for reasons that you will see when we get out here. Let's just shift these color players around because I want to get to play as orange. And we're going to be playing as my favorite base game faction, the Rana. So, the way this game works is you manage armies that are led by what are called wielders. Wielders are essentially wizards in the game's parlance. We've been dealt a random wielder from our faction here, Cheekham Stormcaller, the Rana Raider, with a specialization that gives bonus damage to hunters and storm guards under our command. And we start with 2 small units of hunters in our army. You can see here we currently have 3 slots for troops. We also have some basic skills, command, which determines how many slots for troops we have in our army, and the raider skill, which gives us some extra view radius and extra gold from battling and pillaging. All right, so this is the strategy map here. We have a certain number of movement points available each turn, and you can see the world is just dotted with all these points of interest. There's things to visit, sources of power to tap, resources laying around, and of course, hostile and enemy armies just waiting to be challenged. We will not be challenging this band of Arleon troops anytime soon, but they are over there. We also have been given a settlement to start with. Warm Welcome Hill here, a large settlement with 2 small build sites. That's what these are here. And let's get started by just constructing a really basic building here. We are going to need lots of stone and wood to build up our town. These are the basic resources of construction, along with gold, of course. And then over here in the top right, you have 3 rarer resources that are going to be used for higher tech units, technology stuff. We'll worry about these in a bit. For right now, let's just get access to some stone and wood. So the three buildings we can afford to construct right now are a fungus farm where we can just harvest some gold every turn, and then stone diggers and wood gatherers. Arbitrarily, let's start gathering stone first. We're going to want both of these things, but each town can only be working on one project at a time. So we can't start, you can see our build queue is full. We can't start working on our wood building until that finishes. So if I hold Alt here, you can see the extent of our movement range for the turn, and also some little tags on each of the interactables to make things just a little bit easier to read. And I think we're going to start by heading north. I want to turn these farmhouses to our cause, because farmhouses generate a little bit of income every turn. So while we're on the way up there, we may as well grab this pile of wood. Okay, a lot of hostiles that we are not quite ready to handle yet. You can see the color of the aura around them indicates how difficult the game thinks that it would be to take them down with our current army. We're gonna stay away from anything that's angrier than yellow for the moment. Oranges and reds are off limits. We'll get a little bit of gold. We'll visit this tavern. A tavern fills any army with energy and vigor. So we've got +5 movement for 2 turns, which is certainly going to help. Grab some celestial ore. That's this purple stuff over here. It's just hanging out on the ground. And there we go. We've claimed that farmhouse. A little bit of bonus income. And as you can see up here, we're not really making a lot of money right now. Every little bit helps a lot. Grab this other farmhouse too. And then we can reach this watchtower this turn. A little bit of vision will do us good. So, like I said, we have started very close to another player, but you can see the cliff faces here do not actually allow us to reach them. There is a pretty short path by road from our base to their base, but a platoon of angry bargain troops stands in the way, and we will not be able to interact with each other until one of us gets strong enough to be able to take this army down. Which is the way a lot of the multiplayer maps are constructed. They sort of they have these strength checks. So you're trying to build up enough to be able to push out further and further onto the map and grab more and more resources and stuff. So we've hit our movement limit for the turn. We've got a thing building in our town. Let's just go ahead and end the turn. See the other players doing exactly the same thing. And for now, it's just all about building up. So we can see there's more celestial ore over this way. There's probably more building sites somewhere out in the dark away from the center. So I think that's probably what we ought to do. Let's kind of just head down this way and see what's what. I'm not super familiar with this map. We can stop by the reflecting pools on the way. You can see this is a source of knowledge. So when we visit it, we should get some experience points. Reflecting on what's been achieved and what should be achieved has awarded us with 500 XP, and that's all it took to level up. So we can gain another point of command. We can get +1 Glimmerweave income, so that's an income for one of the rare resources right off the bat, which is certainly interesting. Or we can learn destruction magic. So you can see up here, there are 5 different colors of essence available. What sets a wielder apart from any other person in the Songs of Conquest world is a wielder can gather and manipulate essence to cast spells. We're going to want a lot more points of command over time, and obviously Glimmerweave income is cool. I'm actually quite torn between destruction magic and getting Glimmerweave income this early. We probably won't be able to make very good use of this for a while. I'm going to take the destruction magic. So you can see here, currently, each round in battle, we'll be getting some destruction essence and some creation essence. And each type of essence powers different spells, and then they can be combined to create an even larger array of spells. All right, let's stop by this celestial ore on our way down. Seems like the army over here is not very strong. It's just 1 to 5 Ravagers. We can probably take 1 to 5 Ravagers, and it looks like there's some kind of weapon over here. Yeah, let's diverge from our plan a little bit and say what's up to these guys. Okay, so you can see there's 4 Ravagers divided into 3 sets. We're gonna keep our dudes together here. And let's fight this manually. This is an easy battle, but we'll fight it manually so y'all can see the battle system. So, at the beginning of each round, we get a certain amount of essence determined by our wielder. Because we have that destruction magic thing, we're getting 2 destruction essence at the beginning of the round. Also, at the beginning of each unit's turn, that unit generates its essences for us. So you can see a stack of hunters, no matter what size the stack is, gives us +1 creation and +1 destruction at the beginning of its turns. That's why we're at 3 and 1 right now. When this guy's turn starts, he'll also generate us that stuff. So there's some interesting questions, and like, how do you balance if you have 20 hunters? Is it better to spread them out into several small units, or keep them all together so that you can deal more damage with more focused troops? For right now, I think what we're going to do here is take some real simple turns. By mousing over these enemies, you can see how far they can move on their turn. We're just going to move slightly short of their maximum movement distance, let them come to us. And you can see we're starting to generate enough essence to cast spells, but we'll worry about that in a second. Let them take their first turn. They're just going to run right at us. These are not highly strategic animals. All right, so you can see here there's a couple of tiles that are raised up. Attacking from higher ground to lower ground does give you a bonus. So I think we're going to do some of that. We're also gonna cast a little magic. So here you have the list of all of the spells, basically. You can see the escalating costs within each school. So if we had more destruction magic, we could burn their defenses or start to cast direct damage spells. Nice big fireball, that sort of thing. With the creation magic, we can summon insects and harry them on the battlefield, make it harder for them to move around. And then over here, you can see, because we have 3 creation and 3 destruction, this is where all of the mixed school spells are. What we're going to focus on right now is just damage output. So +10 melee offense for our troop whose turn it is. We're going to move up onto the high ground, and we're going to swing down at this unit that's on the ground. So after a troop is attacked in melee, it gets to retaliate unless there's nothing left in the stack. Each of them will get to attack us. We'll get our retaliation. And then that's a pretty straightforward battle. Lost a couple of troops. It's fine. We'll figure it out. And in return, we've gained access to some loot. Okay, 100 gold. That's cool. And also, our first beacon of power. You can see down here at the bottom of the screen, everybody's beacon of power access is tracked. The most multiplayer maps have the objectives you can either win by just killing all the enemies, taking all of their towns and stuff, or if you can hold enough of the beacons of power, you can win that way as a sort of a defense against people turtling up too much. So we're going to claim our first beacon of power and also get all this loot next turn when we have more movement available. We're also going to go back to town and build that other resource gathering structure. Yeah, okay. You can see here this settlement is currently tier 1 and can go as high as tier 3. To upgrade it is just going to require some resources in the bank. We're going to need some more stone than we have currently. And upgrading it will give us extra build sites as well as more base gold income. So definitely a thing worth doing as soon as we can afford to do it. All right, what have we here? A bone club. So our wielder gets stats from equipping various items. Obviously, our wielder does not participate directly in combat, as you saw. Chica was not on the battlefield, but all our troops inherit all of our direct statistics here. So you can see we're giving +9 offense to all of our guys. So it is definitely worth it to find better equipment. Get this beacon of power. We'll find 300 gold in this pot. And then, like I said, I think we kind of just want to be heading down this way. Okay, yeah, you can see there's a place to gather Glimmerweave. We'll stop by this old battlefield on our way down. Are we some experience to be earned here? Nope. Walking this old battlefield inspires caution. 20 defense, but minus 10 offense for the next battle. Okay. We'll grab a little bit of money here as well. And with all of the resource gathering we've done, we do in fact have the stuff to upgrade this to a tier 2 settlement. So we've got another small build site here, and more importantly, we've got ourselves a medium build site. Medium buildings are usually the ones where you're starting to get into your like real core troops. So this building would allow us to build guards and crawlers. The Beast Corral will get us into Ravagers and Tremors. We can train our own Ravagers. The Chelun Sanctuary will let us summon these Chelun Shamans who are pretty powerful. And the Exchange will allow us to buy and sell resources for money, which obviously is an important thing in its own right. But I'm a little focused on troops right now. You know, we definitely want to be building up the basics of our army. So I think we probably want mud huts next. Guards are very useful. So this is just going to require some money and some wood. To upgrade this building, we'll also have to have a wood gatherer, which, you know, it's no big deal. We're on the way there already. Upgraded buildings produce upgraded versions of the troops, and there's a big difference between the basic version of a unit and the upgraded version. It's definitely something we want to pursue. We also have another small site here, and I think given our bonus to hunters, we probably want to construct the hunter gathering building there. So we're just going to need a little bit more money, unfortunately. We only have one small build site available, so as much as I would like to build an income structure, I think we need to get our hunter stuff up and running. So we're going to just leave it blank for now. Okay, we can see the purple player doing the same thing over there to the west. Let's grab some gold. Okay, so we have a sort of like an advanced resource gathering area here where we could get access to mines for all of the high tier resources, but it is guarded by some big scary roots troops. So we're gonna have to get a fair amount stronger before we're ready for that. In fact, it looks like all of the goodies out here are guarded by enemies. Well, we can help ourselves to the oasis. Find here some old urns with either some glimmerweave or some gold that we can sell. We can sell the glimmerweave for gold immediately. I think at this moment we don't really need the glimmerweave so badly as we just need large amounts of raw gold. Right, we'll touch this oasis. The secluded oasis is occupied by merchants, and they offer gifts of hospitality. Those are some pretty good gifts for us for this moment. Leaving a stone shows respect for the fallen. So some of the points of interest yield permanent stat increases for your wielders. Definitely worth getting out here and exploring the world. And I really appreciate this system, giving each of your armies lots of things to do. Because once we have a new wielder, we'll want to make sure that they, touch all the same power sites and stuff. It keeps you active even in moments where you don't have anything to fight right that second. So we're gonna have to. We're starting to see like the edges of where we can get to without more units, without getting into a bigger fight. I guess let's continue this way for the moment. These roads lead somewhere. And with the extra money that we've made there, we can, in fact, put together a lean-to. Start summoning our next group of guys. When we upgrade again to tier 3, we'll gain another medium and a large build site. We will not gain another small one. We just need more towns. And they're out there. You know, the sites for town building are out there. We will find them. So let's focus on that for the moment. Purple's gathering up all their stuff, getting all their farms. They will be playing on basically like a radially symmetrical version of the territory that we're on now. Pile of stone over here. Okay, yeah, you can see as we're heading further out, the enemy troops are getting bigger and meaner. Let's run up and observe this waterfall. Resting for a while by the waterfall invigorates the troops, +3 movement for 2 turns. These urns are also full of gold or glimmerweave. I think I'm going to stick with the gold for the moment. Okay, and this Farseer's vessel has given us a fair bit of extra income. Okay, so there's another settlement spot over here, but it is guarded by some pretty large armies. I mean, that's not that big of a force. We can build up enough to take them. But we'll have to go back to town and get some troops. Okay, so while all this is happening, let's talk about these mud huts, like I was saying. Guards, pretty powerful. Crawlers, pretty powerful. And it's easy to upgrade. Although, we're going to wish we had some glimmerweave. It's fine. Let's just get the mud huts building. We also can upgrade. Pretty much any structure can be upgraded once. So if we want to spend golden stone and celestial ore, we can double the output of either of these buildings for a very similar cost. We'll probably need all the resources eventually. It's a little bit of a shame to be spending the higher tier stuff, but like... And then this is going to require 1 more celestial ore and 2 glimmerweave. I mean, we could see some glimmerweave on the ground over here. We just need to gain some bodies. Let's head back to town, pick up some more troops, and then see about pushing our way through some of these defensive NPCs. So you can see if you stay along the road, you can really travel quite quickly. Just come over here. We're still building the mud huts. The town can't really do anything this turn. All right, green is staying within vision of our watchtower. So if we interact with the individual troop buildings or just the city center, we can draft additional troops into our army. The way the recruitment buildings work is each turn they gather a certain number of troops of their type. If we mouse over it, we can see this is getting +2 guards per turn. This is getting +3 hunters per turn. And if you're wondering why the numbers aren't multiples, it's because I think they do a short gather the first turn they're built. And that happens for free. It is once you want to draft the troops from the building into your army that you pay the gold cost. So I'm going to get the 5 guards that are available, and we can only afford 10 of the 14 hunters that have gathered up. I'm going to split these stacks into roughly even amounts. Okay, now we should be a little bit more capable. You can see some of the fights are now appearing as yellow. I think this roots fight here is probably a little tough for us still, but we can use this to earn some extra resources, and from there figure things out. So like, what we could get a hold of some more artifacts. It looks like all the equipment that's laying around is weapons, though. Defeating this army would allow us to pick up some celestial ore and some glimmerweave, and those are resources that we know we need. So why don't we do that? We'll stop by this blacksmith real quick, gather whatever buff is available here. A sharp sword. Okay, they really want to give us a lot of weapons today. So my bone club is 4 offense, the sharp sword is 5. Okay, it's not rocket science. The game thinks we could handle this. I guess it's a pretty small amount of units overall, and I would like to get my incomes of those resources going. You know what? Let's try it. So they got dreads. Dreads are scary, and then they have lobbers, which are ranged units. I do think this is going to be a little difficult, but we have more bodies in total, and with 3 sets of troops, we're generating more total essence every turn. So you can see here, this is what a dread looks like. Stats wise, they're pretty big, 50 health each, and they hit pretty hard, 12 to 17 base damage. Our new guards are a tough unit, just for comparison's sake, and they only have 30 health and they hit for like 2. So we are definitely going to have to bring our superior numbers to bear. Fortunately, each of their dreads is only a single dread. And then they have their lobbers. You can see when we mouse over this unit, the hard red outline, the solid red outline, indicating how much it can move on each turn, and then 2 dotted red outlines that are a little harder to perceive that show the 2 combat ranges for its ranged attack. Every ranged unit has a basic range and then a deadly range, and as you might imagine, outside of deadly range, they don't deal their full damage. So we want to be pretty careful here. We need to close in on them, but we need to make sure we're not taking too much range damage. The dreads are super fast, so they're going to be able to get to us pretty much no matter what. We definitely don't want to leave ourselves standing adjacent to the high ground because we don't want to encourage them to attack us from the high ground. So I think I'm just going to move my guard a single space forward here. That dread is going to come and get us, but we don't have to make it awesome for him. And I want to try to stay out of their deadly range until they until we can get closer to them ourselves. If a ranged unit has to move, it loses some of its range damage for the turn. So I'm going to plant myself right here because we're just outside of all of their current ranges. If they want to attack us, they're going to have to step up. Okay, you can see here the retaliation. Okay, that wasn't too bad. By forcing them to move, we really blunted the worst of their attack. We're going to deal 10 to 24 damage to this thing. It's going to deal its big damage back. We are not anywhere near hitting its dealing enough damage to kill it. But it's going to be a team effort. So this stack of 13 hunters is dealing 3 to 4 damage each. So they attack for a combined 39 to 52. So they will be able to knock this thing over, and in fact this stack should be able to knock that one over as well. We're going to be at the mercy of their ranged units for another turn, but that's not too bad overall. Which means that this guard's damage is kind of irrelevant. Right, yeah, the hunter stack is guaranteed to get the kill, so I'm just not even going to attack with the guard, because there's no reason to invite the retaliation damage. Unfortunately, we can't just walk away and move toward the ranged, because if you move away from a unit, you do take an opportunity attack. So I think I'm just going to end the guard's turn. Yep, and then we get this run up and drop you. You can see it was only 37 to 50 damage rather than 39 to 52 like I calculated, because of the unit's defense value against our offense value. You know, there's some complicated math going on there. So we're not 100% guaranteed to kill this guy. We might only deal 40 damage. I'm going to give him a little push. So we could buff up the offense of our own unit for destruction. I think that's probably sufficient. It pushed us to 44 to 58. Still not a guaranteed kill. I'm also going to deal 5 damage to this guy with Insect Swarm. Okay, we would have had to have rolled the absolute minimum damage on our damage dice there in order to not get the kill. And then we can just press forward. Unfortunately, guards move pretty slowly. This guy has taken up a position behind these barricades, which is very annoying. Barricades only have 1 health. Can you use magic on? No, that makes sense. It makes sense that you can't insect swarm a barricade, I guess. So insect swarm does a little bit of damage. It also lowers the enemy troops' initiative, which could change the order that it goes in the round, except that you can see all of our troops are already higher initiative than all of the enemy troops. So there's not really anything to do except get over here and smash this barricade. You can go and harass this guy. Unfortunately, our magic is not really doing the stuff we need here. And you can see we don't hit hard enough to kill very many of them. Ranged units that have something adjacent to them generally cannot attack at range, so this guy is stuck meleeing our one stack of hunters, but that seems to be working out just fine for him. When we mouse over this troop, you can see it says 1 retaliation remaining. Most units only get to retaliate against 1 melee attack per turn, so if we have our guard run in and eat that, then these guys get away with attacking for free. And you can see we've got some more spells building up here. So as we're acquiring more and more essence, we now have access to Breath of the Phoenix, which will deal 60 damage over 3 tiles. We also have Ice Bolt, which does a little bit less damage, but lowers initiative and troop movement. Not super relevant in this case. I do think we're going to need a little bit of a push from some magic. We can use for 50... Okay, with 2 guys, this whole stack only has 37 HP left. So let's just go ahead and be rid of them. And then we can have this guy hop over and finish off the badly weakened ranged unit over here. Okay, that's going to do some good work for us. So now we have access to this set of higher tier resource generation nodes. Also, another 200 gold. Hooray. So let's stop in at the old camp, where we can pull another 6 guards or grab 1,300 gold. You know what? 6 guards is pretty valuable, actually. It would be a while before we could hire them, and I think they would cost more than 1,300 gold to hire. So, the building produces 2 guards by default. We can purchase an upgrade here that lets it also generate crawlers. And then, of course, it can be upgraded itself to allow us to produce upgraded versions of its units. We'll get to all that once we have the income. We're really, really short on money. All right. One thing at a time here. Fortunately, there is gold just laying on the ground in some places. For example, right here, and also right up there. What am I more interested in? Unfortunately, I think the thing we're most interested in is actually celestial ore, but there's no gold laying on the ground next to that. Okay, so we've got our ancient amber extracting, plus a minus 10 defense, plus 20 offense in our next battle for this army. Let's at least grab this before we go considering any more fighting. We should probably grab all 3. It takes a long time to walk around and grab everything. Let's go ahead and pursue this. Because of the way troop buildups work in this game, it really behooves you to get your unit production structures online as early as possible, even if you can't afford the units yet, because that will give them the time to build up to reasonable values inside of the building. All right, so we'll grab our source of celestial ore. These Barian troops are guarding some resources. What is this exactly? Musketeers and Scarred Brutes. I think that fight's a little scary. As you might imagine, Musketeers are a proper gun unit. Guns pretty good against frogs running at you. Do I want to redivide these stacks? It is nice having a certain number of frogs per stack to make sure that your damage output is good, but we do definitely want to have the 2 stacks for essence generation at the very least. I think I might do it like this, and we'll just keep these guys back. In fact, if I'm going to do that, if we're going to have 1 stack that exists just to be kept back, let's make that just a single guy so that we can bring as much force to bear as possible. Okay, so it is 6 ranged units and 2 Scarred Brutes. These Scarred Brutes are big and tough, but they don't really have, any fancy abilities or anything. And 11 guards is starting to be like a reasonable amount. So we'll put you all the way back here on the deployment, and we can hit quick battle. There's a sort of an auto-resolve situation here. That is a crazy amount of troops to lose. That's everything except, yeah. So you can see the result and then go, you know what? That seems like too much loss to me. I bet I can do better. Or you can just accept it. I absolutely think we're going to win this, and we are for sure going to get, a lot of our troops are going to get shot. But I don't think it has to go down quite like that. So you can see here the Musketeers, they have quite a long range. Partially this is because they are standing on high ground, which is increasing their range. Because they are using muskets, they get to do 1 attack at full damage value, and then they have to reload for a turn. So we're not really going to be able to play outside of their shooting range in total, but we don't have to stand inside deadly range. These guys are scary for sure. I'm going to move this 1 stack up. I'm going to see if I can draw their attention, but I don't want the one guy to actually be vulnerable. All right, I'm pretty sure I want you to stand just outside of deadly range. It's a little scary. Okay, so they took their shot before they got us into deadly range. 24 to 61. Oh, geez, each of these Scarred Brutes has 90 HP. That's something. So we have this explosive fungi spell, which allows us to place mines. You hit for 20 to 24 each. So each time you attack, you're killing like a guard and a half. That's really ugly. I want to use my magic to deal damage. I wonder if we're best off trying to like wait for an ice bolt. 7 and 7's not all that hard to get to for us. How much health do Musketeers have? Musketeers have 18 health each. So one of those Phoenix spells would kill 3 Musketeers out of this stack. The thing is, there's no way I'm getting away from the Scarred Brutes. We are going to take damage from them. We're going to get locked in melee, so the question is it worth just using explosive fungi to soften them up? I think given that there's no way we evade fighting them, let's just go ahead and commit to it. That way at least we get to hit first, right? And you can see with the retaliate, we've nearly killed the first one. 20 HP left. I'm gonna run up and try to be in position here to do something. We will approach while they're reloading. Okay, we got you down to 1, and like I said, we can do a fair amount of damage here with the Breath of the Phoenix. Mist allows a friendly troop to become unattackable until it attacks or uses an ability. I don't think that's where we're at right now. I think we're at deal 3 damage. It's a shame we can't get both of them to get hit by this, but I will certainly take that. The damage being dealt by this thing is lowered now that there's only one of them. We can add a little bit of counter-strike damage. He's going to turn around and kill this unit on his turn if I do this. So I probably shouldn't just yet. Is it better than allowing him to just hit the frogs over and over again? I guess you're all frogs, but it's better than allowing them to hit the guards over and over again. Maybe. Kind of makes us a distraction. Yeah, you know what? Okay, and then we are going to offense buff you, because I don't think you're not killing all of them. As it is now, you can get a little bit more damage in. Unfortunately, that was really ugly. That was not lethal. And we are hemorrhaging troops pretty fast here. You have exactly 5 HP, so the insect swarm will prevent you from getting another turn. Wait a minute. Was there... Were there 2 of them in that stack? Did I just... Okay. Did I just totally blank on the fact that there was an extra guy in that stack? Well, it is what it is. Now he's reloading. We'll aggression buff our guard and keep swinging. It turns out I'm underperforming the auto-resolve. That's no good. I should have just taken the auto-resolve. This is a serious fight. So unfortunately, we've been defeated and we've lost our sharp sword. So you can see here, if I click on... If we mouse over this, Cheekham Stormcaller was defeated. They can be revived at any of our towns or settlements for free in 5 rounds. We'll see next round here when we hit next turn. We can revive them for a cost. And this value will go down every turn until it becomes free. We also will eventually be able to hire more wielders. I believe what determines how many wielders you're allowed to have is the overall level of all of your settlements combined. So when we get this up to level 3, I believe it will open up our second wielder slot. So we're just going to have a couple of really quiet turns here while we wait for our wielder to regenerate. Unfortunately, this means time when we are not walking around gathering resources and stuff, and that is a shame. We have the money to wake up now at a slightly cheaper wake up cost. We'll just go ahead and grab this pouch of riches that's sitting nearby. That seems important. And then we come back to life with very little in the way of units. So let's come down here and grab some loot real fast. This waterfall will give us bonus movement. We can check the bubbling bog and find wood and ancient amber having bubbled to the surface. That's pretty good. Hit this tribute to order, which gives us +1 order essence per turn for 1 battle. Granary dropping 1,400 gold. That's really what I was looking for. Alright, well, we'll turn around here. We should be able to get some troops. Decent amount of troops with 3,000 gold. Let's try to rebuild and get back out there. So we can pick up a full stack of guard. Obviously, it's important for us to have hunters because we have bonus damage on our hunters, and +1 bonus damage is a 50 to 33% increase in total damage output. It really does help. But guards are a lot tougher. I think we're gonna take this. Each hunter is 7 health, while each guard has 30. And they have the guard ability, giving friendly units nearby more defense. Let's grab the guard. We'll also grab some more y'all. And then we just need money. We also have enough crawlers over here to form a pretty mean stack, but we just need cash. So you might notice places that we visited have their names grayed out, except sometimes the names go back to white. Any place that just gives you a temporary buff will become interactable again after the duration of that buff has ended. So we can swing back through this old battlefield and grab a little bit more resource here, or grab a little bit more buff. And then we didn't actually convert the Glimmerweave web, because we got killed by this guy. So let's make sure that happens. Let's make sure we are getting income of Glimmerweave. Plus, you know, a little bit of extra gold is nice. And at this point, we can absolutely kill that Barian army. What is left of it will definitely go down. I'm going to bump a single frog over to there, just for the essences. And we're just waiting on gold to be able to upgrade our settlement some more. This is going to require Glimmerweave, which we'll have soon. Okay. I'm a little embarrassed. I'm a little embarrassed to have gotten run over early, but like this is the critical thing on these maps, is trying to judge like when is it safe, when am I ready to push outward? Because the earlier you push outward and kill enemy armies, the faster you're getting more loot, more stat points and stuff. But your eyes can definitely get bigger than your stomach, so to speak. So I think this is a reasonable outcome. I should have hit quick battle. We should have at least seen it. It's entirely possible the quick battle would have just given it to us. So you can see their stacks have not recovered any numbers, but each individual body in the stack goes back to full health after the first turn. I think what I'm actually going to do this time is stay out of his range entirely. So he has to move and also shoot us at worse than deadly range. Okay, I think that works out really well, actually. So you are going to be able to catch me no matter where I go. But we're gonna be able to rush the gunner here. So I think the play this time is actually going to be, let's plant some mines. I don't actually know how smart the enemy is going to be about avoiding these. You're going to end your turn here. So I suppose what we can do is, let's lay them like this and see if they do. Okay, they do serve as a deterrent to entering those spaces. That's interesting. Now you still have your retaliation this turn, so having this guy attack there would be immediately lethal to us. So we're just gonna back off. And of course, push up on this guy while he's reloading. Okay, there's a chance we get the kill here. We're going to deal 18 to 44 damage. It's a fair amount of variance. Let's tack 5 more damage on there just to make it slightly more likely. Okay, 29. We did, in fact, do it. And this guy should be able to knock you out trivially. All right, there we go. We have avenged our embarrassment. Got ourselves a little bit more gold. We got our sword back. And another level of stuff. So now that we actually have Glimmerweave income, Crafty Spiders is looking a little bit less compelling. We're unlocking more types of troops and larger numbers of troops. So I think I'm going to take that next point of command. We're also going to grab this pile of stone and this pile of gold and some kind of gloves. Okay, 1 defense, 2 offense. This is part of a set, actually, so we can keep an eye out for this other stuff. You can see we can dual wield one-handed weapons. This says it must go in the main hand. Okay, so we're yielding quite a lot of offense to our troops now. Grab some ore that's sitting around. We'll check out this Scholar's Lectern for a permanent bonus to offense and defense and movement. It's pretty rad. And we can see here another beacon of power, but supported by a much larger number of musketeers. You know, there's some interesting stuff down here. Let's head down and check it out. And it does give us the resources for this. It is going to upgrade our base income by a fair amount. So let's go ahead and make that happen as quickly as we can. And now we have another medium and a large. to think about. A beast corral is interesting. You know, Ravagers are effectively cavalry. The second level upgrade requires a lean-to, which we certainly have. If we wanted to build a turtle sanctuary, we'd need a fungus farm to upgrade it, and we don't have one of those in the settlement. And then as far as large stuff goes, we can learn to make Ethdraw, ranged dragon troops, which are pretty cool. And we can construct research and economic buildings here. Make some pretty cool stuff. I do think that a dragon pyramid would be welcome. You want to have a Chiloon sanctuary to upgrade that to level 2, and then you need a dragon pyramid in the same thing for level 3. So this is not a building that levels up very well in a small settlement. We'll probably do like the economy research building instead. Just try to get our get some efficiency going on our resources. A great rush of water sweeps through the northern edge of the marsh. The folk were prepared with their fishing nets, and there was a great catch. The marsh provides. So every once in a while, some random events will occur. You can turn off random events in the conquest match pre-match screen if you want. I apparently left them on. I wasn't really even thinking about it. So a burnt building. No survivors remain, but sifting through the ashes, some resources are found. Got a treasure chest down here, which was pretty helpful. That's a nice amount of loot. This army is just made up of lobbers, which is their ranged unit of the root cursed plant faction. And then we have no idea what would be in that looted cart if we were to free it. Not really sure what I want to do here. I guess I want to keep looking for potential town sites. I'm not having much luck, though. Also, big piles of gold laying in the desert. That's also totally fine. Speaking of big piles of gold, I think we do want to do this. Let's upgrade that building so it's producing the better units. Doing the same thing over here is going to cost us even more Glimmerweave. We'll get there. But we should now have the money for another wielder. There were only 3,000, right? Yeah, okay. So let's talk about who we want to add to this force. Rask, the first rider, gives +1 troop movements to Ravagers and Riders of the Swamp. That's the upgraded version of the Ravager. This is sort of a cavalry guy. Rick Tip, the Marsh Bulwark, gives all of his troops range resistance. He starts with the ranged resistance skill. Oh no, that's just a specialization. And then he also has melee resistance as a skill. Ichamo, the Marsh Seer, is a caster that starts with Destruction Magic level 1. Ooh, that's interesting. Creation Magic level 1 and a big hefty damage bonus to spell power. That's interesting. The Hermit here, also spell resistance and rage resistance. You give just a lot of raw offense power, along with plus 10% gain, or 10% damage gain. You get experience faster and give +1 range to ranged troops. We don't actually have buildings for our ranged troops yet, but I do think this is a powerful guy in general. And he starts with a couple of those Ethdraw troops. It's a small army. They don't really deal that much damage, and they're not that tough. I don't know about all that. And you are specialized in Arcana, and you have some ranged units. I think I'm going to take... I think +1 range to ranged troops is such a powerful thing in theory. We just got to get another settlement going so we have enough building space to actually get ranged troops. Which means we will have to find one. Or we'll have to take this over somehow. I'm a little surprised at how difficult it's been to find a secondary location. All right, well, we don't really have any money left, so I don't think we're going to be doing any hiring this turn. You can... I guess there's some stuff down here we haven't picked up yet. We'll hit this waterfall for bonus movement. And then use that bonus movement to come down here and snag the gold. And we don't really... I don't think we need the wood. I'm not going to spend the movement to grab the wood. I'm going to go back to base now, because by the time we get back there, we'll have a little bit more money. We'll be able to put at least some troops in this army. Uh-oh. The elders say that the season of awakening is the time to cut back reeds from the birthing pools and fortify the banks around the pools. The marsh adapts. So, 2 turns of bonus income, but we pay 2 stone right now. That's actually totally fine. That seems like a win. We're going to get all that stone back anyway. So, with 2,000 gold, we can pick up a unit of guards to keep the Ethdraw safe. I think that's reasonable. You can see here we can also pay a gold cost to transform our hunters into their upgraded form, the Storm Guard. Storm Guard have the ability to ignore zones of control, so they can slip through enemy opportunity attacks, and also they have a shield that they can use to go into defense. Yeah, their damage is higher too, 3 to 5 instead of 2 to 3. Okay, it's a worthy upgrade once we have the money. Speaking of upgrades and money and stuff, why don't you grab us some gold? What else am I looking for here? A bandit hideout. Ah, okay. I could fight these bandits. I do not think that is a good idea at the moment. So one thing I definitely am thinking is that we could build a bazaar somewhere and sell off some of our excess. Like, we now have a lot of ancient amber and celestial ore, and that stuff sells for a reasonable amount. And then we could use that to help push through the rest of the hirings here. I think I'm gonna leave this. I'm gonna not take any hunters or storm guard. I'm gonna leave those for the army that's specialized in them. But I will take on some burrowers. And then we can try to get access to some other stuff. We don't really need these resources. What I need is a large amount of gold. Unfortunately, I do not think this is forthcoming. Alright, we can get bonus XP from these things that give experience, can give them once per character. So it is worth reflecting with each of us as we spawn new ones. We're a little short on troops right now. +1 movement is for sure very good. But honestly, I think we're low enough on total income that taxes feels pretty important. Training crawlers was a good idea. They're excellent at following a scent. Some guards are using them to rescue Rana captured by slavers. The marsh adapts. 15 hunters will be of advantage to Cheekham Stormcaller. Okay, so he's been awarded 15 hunters. That's excellent news. I'm going to once again bump a single. It was supposed to be a single. Okay, there we go. Again, just for the essence. We want our main stack of hunters hitting as hard as possible, ideally. So are you out of movement? No, you are not even close. So we could break down this gang of veneer troops, but the fact is I just don't want the things that are over there all that badly. I guess we don't know exactly what's contained in the looted cart. It could be cool. What the hell. This guy's got to gather some XP somehow anyway. Yeah, I guess keep the guard in the middle. Makes the most sense. Try to draw the enemy's attention to him. So these burrowers have built-in magic resistance, and because they're scary, enemy units that are adjacent to them lose some stats, which is pretty cool. You can see these Huskarls have the ability to throw their spear. They have one ranged attack that they're allowed to perform. And these little dudes, the Licked, have the ability to play a song that gives +5 offense to friendly troops. There's not much we can do about the spear. Like, he's just gonna get to throw it. I can't make him not do that. But we can, same as the other enemies, like stop right outside of his deadly range and make him do it in a way that's at least damage inefficient. Okay, these guys are not super strong. We have the ability to go into ambush mode, basically just like a kind of like Overwatch, say an opportunity attack at range. But these guys ran into our deadly range, so we're certainly going to just stand here and fire. Let's try to eliminate a stack as quickly as we can. There we go. You can see the crawlers are actually remarkably tough. We have to stand here and just throw fire at you. Yep, all that work, and they were just now about to lose our first crawler. Unfortunately, because Slotkin does not generate essence naturally, we're relying entirely on our troops for essence generation, and all of our troops create different essences, so we're not actually building up toward any spells very quickly. Just now finally got enough to do the mines thing. Alright, so this will finish you off. And then a retaliation from the crawlers will be good enough for him. Look at their adorable little collar. That's where you put the tags, because you wouldn't want to lose your crawler somewhere. Okay, so pretty ugly, but we have unlocked some resources here, as well as a throwing axe. Okay, that was 600 gold, and in here we discover 3 guards versus 1,000 gold. I don't remember how much they cost to hire. It can't be 300 each, right? I'm gonna take the gold here. And then we're gonna head back toward the settlements because we have enough money to do some hiring again. All right, resting by the waterfall invigorates my troops. We grab some wood and some gold. Not gonna be able to take that fight. Who is caged here? Ooh, some shamans. Okay, we currently don't have a slot for the shamans, which is why they're grayed out, but we're gonna fix that. I will absolutely take on ranged units. Okay, they've got me again with a gate that I cannot yet pass through. That's fine. We'll figure something else out. So you are just headed back home. Oh, sorry, you're out of movement for the turn. But you are just headed back home to get some more troops so that we can do some fighting. You can see they're building up their secondary wielders as well. A great optimism is spread through the lands. +10 initiative and +1 troop movement for 3 turns. Not bad. Not a bad bonus. Okay. So it costs 1,000 gold to just flip all these up to being the most advanced version of themselves. I'm going to focus on building up my very impressive stack of crawlers, though, because the crawlers are badass. Okay, so these guys are 250 gold each. We did save money by hiring the 3. Wait, no, wait. I don't think we did quite save. Whatever, it's fine. that choice turns out to be fairly balanced. I think I'm going to wait here a second. We get to at least finish off our stack of crawlers if we just wait here until next turn. And I think that's a reasonable cause. Let's see what you are discovering. Lots more stuff, including some portals. But unfortunately, nowhere to build a settlement. We are going to have to fight through some of these enemies in order to be able to expand and get our capabilities diversified. And sadly, we are just not there right now. Debating whether I want to come down here for this cart, because that would be all that we're getting out of the detour. It might not be worth the time. We should really try to we need to build up this army so that we can actually take on 26 to 50 footmen, you know. Where does this portal go? Have we seen orange portal anywhere? You know what? I guess the play I'm going to make is oh, nope, this is a cliff. We can't get to the portal until we can clear those guys out. Well, that is unfortunate. I guess let's go ahead and grab this abandoned cart. Okay, they're doing stuff just at the edge of our vision. We are definitely going to fill up the stack of you guys, and then we can pull another 6 guards. You can see you can stack guards up pretty high, and once they are stacked up, they do function quite well. Oh, hey, we can upgrade this building, so we're producing upgraded units for the future. And now that we have the capability for those upgraded units, sorry, you have to right-click on this. We can use the building to upgrade the troops, but because we have no open slots, we have to be able to afford to upgrade the whole stack all at once, and it's not going to be cheap to do. We could probably knock you over, but I don't know that I think it's worth it. What else is being guarded? So down here you can see some of these statues by this army here. Those are definitely permanent stat increasing statues, so there's some value in picking that one up. I am wondering if we should head all the way down there. Here, we can do this. We can, first of all, hit the granary, which is worth a ton. Secondly, come back here and try to upgrade some of our troops. Nope, this is only enough money to upgrade 6 burrowers at a time. That is an expensive upgrade. It'll be worth it. The upgraded crawlers are really spectacular troops. All right, you check that. That's another 300. Found a Glimmerweave spinning wheel. We are going to get a point of Glimmerweave income, whether we want it or not. They're just going to force it on us. Okay, so now that we can see there's not another building site out here, which I'm a little surprised by. It's probably time to loop back around to home. We can see there are an awful lot of hostiles in the area. But yeah, in order to get another building site, we're just going to have to defeat the troops in that walled area. Well, I do think that that's extremely doable. Let's look at this waterfall again, since we will have the buff from that will have lapsed. still a pretty tough group of units. It is 51 to 99 sappers. That's interesting. So they got a big stack of dudes. Even with them being like relatively low damage individually, obviously troops dealing 1 to 2 damage each will really mess up your stacks if there's 50 of them. That's going to be a real challenge to get through. Let's swing down around here. We're very close to being able to upgrade our full stack of burrowers. We can upgrade the full stack of guards. Protectors are pretty cool units, and they have, in addition to stat upgrades, usually upgrading a unit gives it some kind of extra capability. You can see here, when guards become protectors, they gain this bull rush ability, which allows them to just run forward in the direction that they're facing, either directly right or directly left, depending on which side of the battle you're on, until they run into something, which means you can, very early in the game, commit your protectors to blocking up the enemy's ranged units. It's actually very powerful. The question is, would I rather just save up for upgrades to the burrowers? They get up to 50 health each when they're upgraded, and their damage gets really mean. And they gain the ability to burrow, remove from battle for 1 round, and then appear in a tile that was targeted when you started the burrow. Just pull up from under the ground and devour whatever is next to you. Which obviously is fairly powerful in combination with the intimidating. I am going to take the guard upgrade because I think the crawlers are very good by themselves. And let's see if we can get a little more fighting done. I'm going to refresh the waterfall buff because it keeps falling off. We're going to go hit this bubbling bog. Okay, we can definitely handle this. Yeah, we can definitely handle that. In fact, those guys are so low level that, yeah, as the army approaches, it becomes clear to the hostile troops this is not a battle they can win. So once you outpace an enemy armies by enough, and NPC armies specifically, they start doing that stuff, which is very cool. So we can learn Arcana magic, which is powerful, or we could get our 4th point of command. At the moment, I don't think we're super eager to try to jam more troops into this army, or at least not new kinds of troops. So I think I will take a moment to become conversant in Arcana. There are a lot of spells in the Arcana school that are quite useful. Got ourselves a Barian headdress and a bunch of raw resources. Okay, wow, if we can get some more pieces of this set together, these could really help with our income problems. Yeah, that's a very cool set. Okay, so you have spent all of your movement doing that. You also are out. Yeah, okay. Nothing else to do this turn except hope. So at some point, green is going to be powerful enough to push through this this army here and come after us. We really got to make sure we're ready, and I'm getting a little nervous. Okay, here's the other end of that portal. Now we know where that goes to. We are at least gathering gold with this army to allow us to do more interesting stuff with the other army. Back at 3,100 again. Yeah, I wish I knew. I wish I could tell offhand, like, what is it exactly that it costs? It's 125 gold to upgrade a crawler to a burrower, it looks like, right? Well, that can't be all it is, because we would be able to upgrade this whole stack by now. Yeah, we're paying considerably more. So it'd be 5,600 to fully build that stack. It's weird that it's, well, I guess you're paying a smaller amount here because you are talking about units that aren't recruited yet. Maybe. That's a shame. I really want to upgrade them, but they need to they need to be a lot cheaper, or I need to be making a lot more money. Okay, we're still not ready to break the seal between the players, and I think that would be true even if we even if we could do it. It's still not a good idea. But we might be getting in the neighborhood of being able to knock this out and take our second building. These troops are rated yellow to us, but I know what we're up against here from the names of these units, and I would like to be a little bit tougher. So I think I'm going to hang out for another turn. We're going to get this stack of crawlers upgraded, and then I'm going to go for that second building site. We need it very badly. Now keep in mind, I intentionally picked a sort of slower paced map here so that I could explain the mechanics and stuff without getting rushed down. So I picked a very large map for 3 players. It will not always be so spacious. What do you get from the old battlefield? I'm just gathering buffs while I'm getting ready. Okay, yep. Plus stats for a battle. A sharp sword, which I don't think we're going to use. And you can check out these old urns, which we will definitely take 1,000 gold from. And that's enough, right? We can, oh, well, hold on, I should finish moving you. And when I say finish moving you, I mean, of course, back. Finish moving you back toward the settlement. This is definitely enough to upgrade the crawlers. So let's go ahead and do that. Crawlers become burrowers, bigger faces, bigger HP pools, bigger and more terrifying claws. And then the time has come. We will stop by this cairn on the way over there. A little bit of bonus stats for us. I don't know what the Forgotten Grave does. Let's check that out. An archer's helmet and 4 celestial ore. So this would be +4 defense. Yeah, it's better to have on than the headdress until you have the other parts of the set. All right. Yep, I think we're just gonna head back in the direction of home for a moment. Okay, next turn we are on this battle. So this is going to be a little ugly, and you can see this this stack is actually increasing in strength over time slowly. Certainly not as quickly as we are increasing in strength. Now that we have the resources, we can start knocking out like these battles over here. Look at how much stuff is locked behind that fight. But I want this settlement more than I want anything else. So toxicologists are a ranged unit that can move and fire with no damage penalty, and also they poison units when they hit. So this stack, 19 of them, is enough to deal a considerable amount of damage. So you have to be careful about that. Obviously, our protectors are pretty strong. They have 13 Aurelian Scholars, which are also ranged units, and you can see a big part of what makes these units good is that they have a lot of essence. Fortunately, the enemy here does not have a wielder, so we don't have to worry about that. These units are kind of not that impressive without a wielder backing them up. You only have to fight wielders when you're fighting other players' armies, and so obviously we've had this tremendous advantage this whole time. Okay, here's the question. Where do I think you're going to be? I'm going to burrow up directly behind this guy because I think I'm going to use the bull rush ability on the guards to lock these guys in place, and that's going to make all of their stuff just stay put and fight my guards. Pretty tough. We do not have good damage here. I'd like to move up until we can force them into our deadly range. Obviously, it's going to mean a pretty whack attack on this first turn, but I do think it's worth it. If I take one more tile forward, I can get another couple. I mean, if I stepped all the way up to here, we'd have deadly range on a lot of their stuff. They're not really incentivized to move anymore, so yeah, I think I'll move all the way up. Use fire to kill one of those. Oh no, they did move. Shit, that's bad news. The burrower doesn't get to do anything on the emerge turn except for attack. I should have gone here, but I was afraid of getting pinned. Yeah, that's really bad news. So we can remove one of these from the stack. The guards are doing a good job of guarding, a good job of just being strong. Unfortunately, the burrowers do get picked at pretty severely, but you can see we hit pretty hard when we do hit. So we're going to kill 11 to 14 of these things on the swing. We're also building up arcane damage, or arcane essence, pretty quickly here. This is giving us access to Psychic Spear, which is a fairly weak offensive ability. Dimensional Door, which allows us to move our troops around very effectively. Repel, which allows us to move enemies around very effectively. I don't think any of it's super relevant here. These guys have how much health each? Well, you know what? Psychic Spear does take a body off of this stack. Fewer of them to counterattack is a good and valuable thing. We keep breaking down the enemy stacks as much as possible. Yeah, it is ugly. We're taking a lot of damage here. But I can eat this stack of casters now. 16 to 22, so we're not close to killing another Scavenged Bones. We're doing a good job of just kind of like holding the enemies in place. Target friendly troop gets plus 50 melee resistance using Arcana and Creation. You know what? You could use 50 melee resistance. These guys don't really deal that much damage, but I'm gonna run over and finish them off. It might have been worth it just to apply the intimidation aura to all of their melee troops, just to have our crawlers move to here first. Okay, the crawlers have resolved that problem. You get to kill one more of you, and then it's just the crawlers and the specters. That ended up being very costly, and the mistake with the crawlers, having them come up in the wrong tile, definitely cost us a bunch of lives, because it meant that stack of toxicologists was alive for a whole extra turn. But we got it done. We're gonna pick up command, even though we don't currently really benefit from it, just because our maximum army size is so small right now. And we're going to be getting extra troop types added to our situation. So let's do all this. Let us go and claim this large settlement. Hooray! And then start immediately building stuff. So, Shaman Tent. It will be good for us to have more ranged units on the guy who gives extra range to all of your ranged units. In addition, boost the size of this. Our gold income is going through the roof. Can't build more than one thing per turn. There's another beacon of power out here. Like, obviously, these armies now look really scary because our army is so reduced in power, but we're going to be able to construct a lot more stuff now. We're going to send you back home because it is probably time for somebody to pick up an awful lot of hunters. Although, obviously, we're going to be pretty desperate for gold for a little while. But it's going to help a lot that we have a second settlement now. Oh no! The elders say that the season of watchfulness is the time to guard the birthing pools and protect the Rana spawnlings. Life returns to the marsh. 30% of recruitable guards have left your dwellings. Well, I can't say I don't understand why, but that's a very frustrating thing for them to do in this moment. All right, 1,100 more gold. How bountiful is this bountiful oasis? Okay, fairly bountiful. Not as much money as I would like. I do think we're going to go ahead and turn this into an exchange for a little while. We have built up a fair amount of resources now. Being able to sell some stuff off to fund the rest of our army creation seems wise to me. Turn you around. And let's talk about the hunters that have been building up in here. So first of all, I can turn my existing hunter into a storm guard for 150 gold. Let's do that. The larger stack would be... Yeah, okay, so we've got a fair number of Storm Guard now. Storm Guard are, as we saw, stats-wise, just the improvement is quite significant over Hunters. The granary here is a source of wealth, and it is ready to produce again, it looks like. 1,400 gold is pretty good news. So that'll let us do a little bit more conversion. In fact, that'll let us finish the conversion. And then for the ability to draft troops, unfortunately, yeah, we're still real desperate for gold. We have basically a full stack of burrowers available. So defeating more random guys around the map is going to be very useful to us. Let's hit this old battlefield, and we're gonna go over and crush these veneer with this army. We'll get a little bit of money from that, and then we'll be able to interact with some stuff along the way. Yeah, this makes sense. This is a reasonable play, I hope. So I don't exactly know these units, Veneer. These are from the newer factions that I've not had as much experience with. Let's go ahead and go at them like this. Again, keeping our Stormguard split so that we're producing a little bit more magic, a little more essence rather. Stormguard have the same essence as the smaller guys. Okay, so Crone have Raven form. Transforms into a flock of ravens that flies at any enemy and attacks them in melee, then retreats. Okay. I did see this unit there. That's a little scary. These trolls have relatively low damage, but an awful lot of health. There's just a big punching, big face punching unit. Oh, they're a big face punching ranged unit even. Well, let's do that thing we do where we stand just outside of their maximum range. We make them move into us. So that's their... Oh, Jesus. That's their Raven form thing. It is very cool. Geez, what am I going to do about that? I mean, our stack of casters is dead, right? Like, there's not... I'm going to run up and throw poison on somebody. And then... You guys are not strongly incentivized to move forward anymore, so mines don't really make a lot of sense. I guess insects swarm you to push you down the initiative order. Oh, this is a bummer. We can't quite get to them. All right, well, if we have to stop short, we can at least stop short and defend. If I move my full movement distance, we won't be able to take actions. So let's stop a little short and put up some defense. You guys are trying your hardest to get into melee range. Unfortunately, we're just a little bit slow. This is going to be so embarrassing if I get this army killed again. I mean, we're almost actually in melee range. I think I'm going to hold off on casting. It's just not useful enough. Okay, poison damage doing its thing. All right, so they've got our stacks pretty whittled down at this point. But we're now finally on top of them. The trolls have 50 health each, so an ice bolt barely gets through any of them. We could ice bolt you for 2. I don't think giving all of the enemies minus 10 defense is better than ice bolting for damage. We really do just need to do that. I think what I'm going to do is sacrifice this stack to burn the retaliation off of these trolls so that everybody else can get in on them. Yeah, I mean, we're dealing some damage to them, but it's pretty soft. These ravens are for sure going to kill my ranged caster here. So we may as well run all the way up and poison them one final time. Okay, I'm a little surprised by that. I'm a little surprised. I guess they went for the troop that didn't have a retaliation left, which makes some amount of sense. So you have 35 health left as a stack. Remember, these guys have the ability to evade attacks of opportunity, so we can run into here and kill one of the ravens. I'm not going to be able to get more than that. I guess the reason I wouldn't do that is that we're about to have enough essence to Breath of the Phoenix, and we've actually got enemies lined up for it for a change. So I'm just going to eat your retaliation. Oh, and so, of course, they move out of alignment for Breath of the Phoenix. You monsters. It is kind of interesting that the enemy doesn't seem to have any interest in finishing off my my ranged unit. Okay, well, we now have Acid Cloud available, dealing 20 damage to troops for every round standing inside and for every step moved within. So we can cast an Acid Cloud like right here. Just make life awkward for them. They'll have to endure that. We can bring you guys down. Okay, the trolls are continuing to stand in the acid, which is good news for us. I don't think, I was going to say, I don't think we quite win this, but we did manage to wear them down some. That's embarrassing. I really thought Rana with the Storm Guard and the bonus to their damage was going to be able to work that out. Oh no, my spinning wheel. So spoils of war just fall on the ground where your army died. Obviously, if you're against another player's force, that's going to pretty much mean that you lost them because the other player is going to take them. Against a stationary AI army, it's less of a concern. Alright, so we'll pick up some more shamans, and I'm having an embarrassing number of setbacks here. The problem is I keep overestimating my strength because I'm desperate for resources, but it turns out overestimating your strength is actually resource negative. We can at least finish this off with our with this army. Now there's just a very small number of trolls. What we're gonna do here is put you and you all the way back. Part of what we can do here is play back and let our magic build up, but also we can, you know, obviously go for a burrow. So I don't know exactly where I think you're going to move to. You have 4 points of movement. This guy's going to move to like here or here or here, right? So a burrow's pretty risky, but I'm going to go for it. I'm trying to guess where he'll end up. Nope. Okay, I guess wrong. Alright, I am going to run up to high ground. We're going to hold on to our essence. Shamans did a good job of buying time. So I can eat 2 to 3 of you right away. I mean, this has got to be the play, right? These things are going to hit for 6 damage. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and absorb the opportunity attack to move to the high ground so that I can attack this big stack for a lot more damage. And you can see, even though we're outnumbered now, their stacks are so small, they're dealing so little, that they can't actually muster up enough damage to kill anything off the top of the stack. Right now, these crawlers are basically our army. They're doing wonderful work. Tutor. Interact with other wielders and raise their XP to 25% of your wielder's own. I don't know if I think that's good. I'm going to take Arcana Magic. So because we already have Arcana, we can gain the ability to level up the spells that we cast. That was exactly all of our movement, and we're not totally broke. We don't have anything to build over here, though, because this city's still working on the exchange. Oh, somebody got their second beacon of power. Somebody else already has theirs. Let's pick up these caged prisoners. We can, sure, pull 8 more shamans into the army. Why not? Here, I think I definitely will take XP over more Ancient Amber. Do we want more experience gain, more map movement, or like we're not quite in a position to make use of more command on this guy, and obviously more map movement is more resource gathering. What are we looking at here? Brutes and musketeers. That's a lot of brutes. Once again, I worry that it is trying to trick me a little bit. I think we're going to build our birthing pools. Now, while I remember to do it, I'm going to leave the loot where the loot is. We're going to head back to the settlement, and we're going to head back to this settlement for more troops. And we're going to employ our bazaar when we get there to ensure that we can actually buy some stuff. And I'm going to leave our poor defeated wielder defeated for a minute, because we just don't have resources. So okay, what does recruitment here look like? We have access to a lot of good units in theory. Yep, there's more crawlers than we would need for, or more burrowers than we need to make an entire other stack. If we had 9,000 gold, we could pull not even a full stack of protectors, but a significant number of protectors. It would certainly be helpful. So let's see what we can do with this. I do think I'm gonna, before I do anything, I do think I'm gonna build a fungus farm here. Get some income going. Behooves us to upgrade this to a large settlement for more income. Let's talk about the exchange. So we can sell all of the basic resources and buy all of the basic and advanced resources. You can see, obviously, the prices are not amazing with only one marketplace, but at the bottom, it does educate you that more marketplaces means better deals. We don't have extra medium slots, really, right now. I suppose, well, you know, because we are having money problems, we haven't actually made this into anything. Maybe the play is generate 500, turn that into an exchange as well, and then make the rest of our moves after that when we're getting slightly better prices. Right now, we probably have more ancient amber than we need. We certainly have more like lumber than we need. So why don't we sell the lumber? The build queue is full here. Right, I did just start the birthing pools. Okay, well then we are just making money for troop buying. So let's make some more. I don't know how much stone and wood we need to keep on hand, but I do know it's less than we have. Let's say we do like teens. Then I don't know how much of this stuff we're gonna need either. I'm a little more leery of parting with this stuff as well. But let's take it all down to the teens, because I think that gives me the money to buy that stack of guards, right? That's 60% of a full stack of guards. And that is going to give me the money to make some other moves. How tough is this army? Let's head down here, hit the waterfall, hit the bog. We can't see those guys yet, so we don't ever read. I'm curious what is beyond here, because we've never actually gone down there. So I do enjoy this game very much. I'm not the best at it, as you can see. These guys are rated as pretty easy. It's just steam pipers and stuff. Yeah, I think we can handle that. Yeah, in fact, they just ran away. Found here an old camp full of hunters. You know what? I will take the gold over that, because we need to do stuff in our settlements. Oh, actually, we're allowed to have 3 wielders out right now. Not that I could staff 3 wielders worth of armies. We'll upgrade the 1 hunter I spawned with, and then draft some more hunters. Unfortunately, it's a lot of money to hire. Even large amounts of the most basic units is a lot. And I'd love to have some burrowers myself. Let's start with this. Trying to see, is there anywhere else that you could be meaningfully exploring? Oh, there's a small settlement building right there. Well, here's the thing you can do. You can make it all the way down here. Yep, I totally did miss this because it was behind a battle that was sort of split off from. So this is where some map knowledge would have been very helpful. I think we are probably going to go for a fungus farm here. And I would really like to get that built immediately. So why don't we sell some of this stuff to get the cash together to get more income as quickly as possible. Got a battle that's reading only yellow to an army that's just 16 Stormguard. I don't think I'm going to go for that because I think it's a trick. I think they're trying to get me again. So let us really quickly here. Sorry, just taking care of something on my other monitor. Okay, that's handled. You're out of movement. You can certainly knock out some troops. I want to leave some of these fights, you know, for the other wielder, but something's got to break these guys up. So let's put our guard in a position where a guard rush might be a good idea. You can see here they have a number of lobbers, which is their ranged unit. So we want to try to be smart about denying them the ranged attacks that they want to pick. I don't necessarily want to go charging in so hard, although it looks like, yeah, they are pretty much just ranged units. This Lasher unit here has spin attacks, so it damages all adjacent enemies when attacking. That's the thing we got to be careful of. If we stay back here, we can entice them forward and have them break up their formation a little bit as they move. And I think that's probably wise. I want to commit a burrow, but it's so hard to know what the right location is. And if we go for the burrow and we end up putting ourselves in a position where one of them is standing or something, then the burrow just fails. Like, it can be a little risky. So I think I might try to just do a normal move here. Just try to move into them the old-fashioned way. I can only move forward 2 tiles. You know what? I'm not going to move any of our troops on the first turn, I think, because we're all pretty safe. None of them, these guys can't even move into us and hit us at death with their normal range. And then our range is so good, we can still poison them even without them having done that. Okay, nearly a kill to start with. Now the question, am I going to commit a charge here? It is a shame that you can't attack after the charge. But a charge would certainly immobilize this thing. It would be afraid to move away. So yeah, I think I'm going to combine these abilities here. Let's throw you to here. Bull Rush. It's a little scary. Okay, you're tough enough to survive, though. And now that's going to lock a bunch of their positions. So we're going to just kind of run up on these enemies. I'm going to stack more poison on this guy. Everybody else gets the Intimidate. And we're going to kill this thing just so it can't benefit from its AoE damage. Or, you know, honestly, though, it's not the most dangerous thing in the world. It is dealing... So they're dealing 6 to 10 damage each. With 4 of them, that's as much as 40 damage on that attack, which isn't even going to kill a single Lasher. Plus, the guards are about to get a turn. I think I would rather just eat the big range stack, have the guards hit this, and probably kill it. Yeah, there we go. We didn't even end up losing a single burrower that time. It said the battle was green, you know? It felt pretty green. Alright, paid a couple of guards to unlock an awful lot of other stuff. Essence Leech. When an enemy troop dies, you gain their final charge of essence once. That's interesting. I think I'm just going to take extra XP gain, and oh, look at all the money. Oh, look at all the money just laying on the ground. There's this, there's a gold mine, an extra 500 each turn. Oh, We should have gone south first. I think I have made this much more difficult than it needed to be by not knowing that south was the good direction to reach initially. I kind of figured just like going out from the center in the most direct way would be good, but not so much. All right, you get to pick this up. Oh, there's a lumber camp here too, a persistent wood generator. So we're building that. We're still building here. Our third settlement is not currently constructing anything, and it could be. Lookout towers are buildings you can construct to add toughness to the town if it gets attacked. You can add, more troops and eventually static defenses once you upgrade it. The spawning pool is a building that allows you to hire. You can interact with the spawning pool to hire units from the recruitment pools of your other towns and stuff, which can be awfully handy. I don't know if I'm going to build anything else here right away. The fungus farm. Yeah, that's a reasonable price to pay to upgrade the fungus farm. Let's get some more income coming out of here. Get some more income coming out of here. That is all of our current money, but look at that. See, now we're making 3,300 gold per turn. And all of a sudden, things are looking so much brighter. A Barian trader promises to return slaves to the Rana for a price. The folk work hard to collect the gold for the safe return of their relations. The marsh provides. And so, bonuses for a turn. So it turns out we better together. Who would have thought? So Silver Folly also could probably be upgraded to give us some bonus income per round. We've been spending wood very aggressively, but it turns out there's some on the ground right here. So we can upgrade this now too. Also, we'll claim this lumber camp. I'm going to back up a little bit. We found an old sword in this grave. How good is that sword? It's fine. There's another pouch of gold over here and a Farseer's vessel, so we can see all the way out to approximately the edge. It looks like there's another... There's definitely stuff going on down here. I wonder if there's a building site all the way down in the corner. There's certainly space for one, you know? But it turns out there's a stone deposit. We could go grab a stone mine with this army. And let's just clean up all of this free loot. I think I would rather have XP than a small amount of ancient amber at this point. Ooh. +2 movement on the first turn of battle is also very good. Yeah, Levy and Eager are both really strong. These are fascinating. The problem we're having with hiring right now mostly is money making. That won't be true forever. And by the time we're fighting the other players, this could be a real boon. But since you and I both know the video is not going to last that long, let's just go ahead and take this. We can come down here and run off these guys. I know I said the other army needs people to fight, and that's true. But they're going to have to find them somewhere else. We're cleaning up and gathering loot here. I mean, the thing that this army needs more than levels is just bodies, right? So we'll solve that. The main settlement structure here is as upgraded as it's getting. We're never going to get more than 2 smalls and a medium. I am going to build a second exchange here for the better prices. And then there's no sense in resourcing for this. Okay, we've got our birthing pools. Let's look at the research menu real quick here. We're coming up on the end of the video. I think I've sort of shown the basics of this. I've shown how to play it clumsily. But so that you see what research looks like. We have two different research structures. Most factions have two different research structures. One of them will give you access to economic bonuses like, hey, look at that. You can put more than one thing in the building queue in your towns. A little bit of just raw resource income directly off of the research building, also pretty handy. Wielder research. All wielders gain +3 essence per round, destruction essence or arcana essence. Every faction has 3 essences that they specialize in. And then here we get bonuses that affect our troops more directly. So increasing the max troop size has obvious benefits. Some of these researches will do additional stuff. Although it looks like actually these ones are all just max size. But sometimes on certain factions, certain troops, they'll also add like a trait or something. Here we go. Plus damage, plus HP, plus essence. 2 hunters in Stormguard. Range and HP and essence. So you can see like your troops really can get improved quite significantly. As the frontline fighter trait to Chaloon units, which I believe gives them a stat bonus for each adjacent enemy. It would be nice if that was tooltipped here, but you know, over time you learn them all. There aren't that many different traits in the game. Adds frightful. And then you can see sort of upgrades for more broad categories of troops as well. All of our beast troops. That's any troop that's not a frog person, basically. And then here are the upgrades to the frog people. And like +1 HP, you know, on something like a Stormguard, which only has 7 HP naturally, +3 HP is very significant. +1 damage when you're stacking up to 50 or 100 or whatever, especially with upgrades, gets to be very significant. I think for now, though, we can go ahead and end this turn, and maybe here, I did a little clumsily, I'm a little slow, or we're a little bit behind our enemies probably, but not, I think, unrecoverably. Again, I did pick a large, slow map on purpose. You can see sort of how this match evolves and how a larger game like this works. I do want to pop out of here real quick. We're going to drop back to the main menu and show you what a smaller Conquest map looks like so you can get a sense of the sort of the distortion in both directions. One of the reasons I didn't want to just like plop down on a dual map and say, here's what a whole game looks like real fast, is because if we take Feud Island as an example here, and sure, we'll be whatever, it doesn't really matter. We're just showing you the layout. On these maps, you get an experience that is much more like built for competitive play, and so you have stuff like, here's neat little resource packages set up at exactly X steps away. And I don't feel it gives the impression of place that you get from the larger maps and the sort of like the more thoughtfully built out. You can see like right away if we had this way, like here's your obvious first expand and the army that is defending it. We can go over here and get an idea right away. Toxicologists and a couple of scavenged bones. These feel a lot more like, you know, professional StarCraft maps, right? Which is a good thing in a lot of ways, but also I think part of what's really compelling about this game is the way that it does feel like a fantasy place, and I think the graphics and the atmosphere and stuff are very compelling in that way. Anyway, like I said, all those systems, all of that stuff, there are 6 factions currently in the game with a 7th very soon to come. They already have a preview up on the Steam store page. I think that is going to be it for us for today. I hope you all learned something. I hope some of you have had the opportunity here to fall in love with Songs of Conquest. So, if you would like to see more videos like this, or videos specifically of Songs of Conquest, I did play through the original game campaigns on my channel when the game came out, and I am in the middle of a Let's Play of the new Rise Eternal campaign over at youtube.com/sbplaysgames. And again, do check out all of the turn-based Thursday Fest stuff going on in the video description. We'll be back tomorrow with another video about a game that I love just as much, and I hope we can see you then.